Welcome one, welcome all, welcome back. Let's find some comments. Let's find some spooky comments. I don't really exist 92. When I had my operation for my appendix, my soul went to a place as I went under anesthesia. The Matrix calls this place a construct. It seems very real to me, unlike a dream. In this place, I found myself next to a being made of complete light, a bright blue light. He was tall, and I can only make out his silhouette. As I returned back to consciousness, I remember feeling shocks of electricity as my soul was launched into a black tunnel with lights all around it. I woke up in the ICU. My 30-minute procedure took 3 hours. It felt like 3 minutes to me. When I woke up in the ICU, I had completely forgotten about my appendix operation and did not know why I was in the ICU. This happened 3 years ago, and I cannot find answers to what I saw and experienced. All I get is that people don't understand what happens after being placed under anesthesia. The white light. It's the white light everyone keeps talking about. Less strike or less strike? Is it less strike 2707? Or less strike? Less strike 2707? Several things when I was a kid. I vividly remember the wood pattern of my old bed changing as I watched. Not like it was moving, more like it was changing the structure several times a second. Same bed at night. The bed had wooden bars in order for a child not to roll out of it. Those bars had one spot where 2 bars were missing, so one could leave or enter the bed. I remember waking up one night in complete darkness, running my hands 360 along all wooden bars several times. That was my way to find the exit when I was young, and there was no gap. I cried and my parents came in turning the light on, and at the very spot I previously searched for the gap, there it was. This was utterly impossible. There's several more weird happenings when I was younger, which I account to my brain developing. Still, those pattern changes of the wood grain, I sat there and watched for several minutes. Whenever I wanted to show someone, it did not change its pattern anymore. The part of the bed I am talking about was about 80 by 60 centimeters big. It was probably like the floaters in his eyes. You know when you kind of like stare up at something bright, you know, you'll see the floaters around. I don't know, maybe I could find a video of it or something. It's probably just that. ALIH 8747. I had a dream once of going into class in middle school, and the guy that liked me came up to me to ask me out, and I said no. Everyone laughed at him. The next day I came into class, and the guy was wearing the exact same thing as in my dream. He came up to me, and I started to say, "Please don't ask." But he cut me off and said, "I won't. I know they're gonna laugh at me." Then he told me he was having serious deja vu because he had a dream the night before this exact same thing happened. And when it started to play out, he already knew what was going to happen. I told him I had the exact same dream. It was so weird and so creepy, but I always remember that moment and that feeling. That's weird. Like, I've had deja vu quite a bit, but man, okay. Breaking the simulation. That sounds like something in a movie. I get in a couple. I gotta see some of these comments. Please tell me you grew up and married him. That would be a story. Yeah, yeah, it sounds like a freaking movie. Okay. Alright, that's weird. Whoa, okay. I don't know if you guessed or not. We're talking about simulations. Simulations, different dimensions, parallel universes. Really, whatever we can find. See, I'm trying to find stuff like I was walking and then the tree like glitched out, or like I was holding on to some rails when I was walking through the station and I looked down and the rails was like digital code or something, or turned into digital code. Something dumb like that. I'm trying to look for stuff like that. I ain't finding a whole lot. Let's see. We march on. We keep looking. Spirit of the Bear 59. The fruit of the loom with the cornucopia is the way I remember them. Most of my underwear in the 60s and 70s were fruit of the loom, and that's the only emblem I can remember. I even asked my brother, who had never heard of the Mandela effect, and he also remembers the basket very vividly. After hearing this on your video, I looked at the actual emblem, and it appears unfamiliar with me and my brother. The other stuff I never had much to do with. I think Mandela effect ties into this. I'm finding it's got to tie into like the simulation type stuff. I don't know, the only thing that makes sense, I guess. Yeah. Alright, I think it ties in. But yeah, that's one of the biggest ones, is the Fruit of the Loom emblem. General Ilbis, a highly enjoyable and thought-provoking video. I definitely have wondered about various glitches and patches reality seems to have gone through in my lifetime alone. And this video gave me so much more to consider. Also, Fruit of the Loom's logo had a cornucopia. I've read someone challenged that particular Mandela effect by scouring thrift shops and Goodwill stores to locate old Fruit of the Loom clothes with tags intact, and found examples of the full logo. Jiffy PB and Stouffer Stovetop were products you were able to buy at the time, and Dolly, Jaw's girlfriend, and one of Hugo Drax's chosen few for repopulating Earth after his scheme succeeded, had braces. Those are hills I'm willing to die on. That's what you gotta do. You gotta go back in old antique stores, thrift shops, because if it is there, it wouldn't be a glitch. Like, or if the emblem is out there on stuff, it's not a glitch in the Matrix. Then it'd probably be like a social experiment, what companies would do. Also, these are older generations remembering this, and if someone like 40 years ago changed the emblem, and then just most people when they get hired, they don't really, I don't know, maybe they don't pay attention to little stuff like that, and they were hired 20, 30 years after that, the emblem's changed. And then they look at it right now and be all like, well, I've been working here for a couple years. We haven't changed no logo. I might have to do a Mandela effect video. Like, has the company Fruit of the Looms came out and said there wasn't a cornucopia? Maybe I'll look it up after this. Alright, moving on. We're wasting too much time. Grab a beer. Oh, I see what you did there. I like that. Grab a beer. Haha, funny. I have recorded proof we're in a simulation. There's no other reason cars only pull out in front of me when I'm in a hurry to get somewhere. But yet, don't any other time I'm driving. This is proof the simulation puts obstacles up just in time to challenge you. Just like playing the video game Grand Theft Auto, doing the same thing through lines of code when driving on the game during a mission. This simulation does the same, but in real life. It's indisputable. I don't know. Go grab a beer, alright? I don't know. It's interesting. Psychological apparition. The universe is putting you to the test to control your anger. If you're focusing on that, then your higher self is telling you to slow down and be more calm and focused. Everything is set up to test our decisions. If a lady walking in front of you on a deserted sidewalk drops her wallet, you would have a decision to make. This is what builds soul character. If you keep it, shadows attach to you. If you run up to her and return the wallet, you will have passed the test. Everything is recorded, and you will relive it all in your life review in a measurement of your heart. That's interesting. But I mean, your heart, I don't know about the measurement of your heart. Wouldn't it be the measurement of your soul? Didn't you just say that? It builds your soul, so wouldn't you be, it's the measurement of your soul, I think? I like that. When I was younger, I used to get really emotional about dying. I was really young when it hit me that my parents were gonna die. Way younger than I should have been. I can't remember the age, but it hit me one day. I was at school. I think I was in middle school or something. And I was all like, man, it'd be kind of cool if when we died, you're kind of like in a movie theater and you get to watch your whole life. Maybe with the Almighty beside you or whatever you believe in. But yeah, I think that would be really cool. It kind of made me feel better about yeah, I don't know, passing away and what have you. But yeah, it's interesting. Raoul McWenana 6469. I have proof that we are interconnected. It is my own theory. When we are dreaming, all brains that are dreaming at the same moment are connected. That is the only explanation for me. and why I know stuff in dreams that I don't know in real life. Things about music, languages I've never heard of, I can understand and speak. It could even be that time is absent in dreams. I do lucid dreaming and write down my dreams since 2003. Illusion comes from the Latin laudere, which means to play. That's interesting, illusion. Didn't know that. Texas Hill. As a child, I died and came before the Lord. Okay. Maybe we'll get to the movie theater experience I was talking about. As a child, I died and came before the Lord. My mom locked me out in the backyard when I was 4 years old. I was playing on a fire ant mound. The fire ants crawled up my arms and legs and bit me all at once. I lost consciousness several times. The second time I woke up, I knew I wouldn't wake up again if I lost consciousness again. I told my mom not to let me fall asleep, but she insisted I needed rest and put me in bed. Within minutes, I fell asleep and noticed my pillow felt so soft. Not like my regular pillow. I wondered whose pillow it was, so I looked and realized I was still lying there. It scared me so much, I laid back down and thought, wake up before you get up. But it didn't work. I couldn't wake up. I began to panic. I then heard a loud male voice coming from all around me, trying to calm me down. But I said, no, it's not okay. I can't wake up. The voice then asked if I knew who the Lord was and where we go when we die. I said yes. My father told me we come before the Lord when we go to die to be judged, and we go to heaven. The voice said yes. Would you like to see who you were before? I said, I lived before? He said yes. Would you like to see? I said yes. He showed me from my childhood to an adult and what happened, which I cannot tell you. After showing me who I was before, I was ready to go back and tell my mom I was okay. He said I couldn't go back. I told him yes I can. Just as easily as I came here, I can go back. He said, why do you want to go back? I said, I spent all my time getting to know my father, and I didn't even know who my mother is. He said, okay, be it done unto you as to your faith. But if you go back, I have to take that which you hold most dear. I said, no problem. I thought he meant my favorite toy I played with. A wood block with pegs and a hammer and my baby blanket. He meant my father. I found out a few days later when I lost my father. This is the first time I have ever written about this. The Lord forbade me from telling my story for profit, so I never wrote about it till now. I'm not trying to make any money from this. I just want people to know the Lord is real. And yes, you probably lived before just like me. God bless all who read this. That's nuts. Man, if you watch it, sorry about Dad. Damn. That's what they say, right? Sacrifice, you know? Mr. Candy Bee. We aren't living in a simulation. We are living simulators living in a simulator. Ooh, alright, that's a twist. Empowering distinction. The simulation is what's already been simulated, i.e. the past. You can't live in the past. You can only take the past back to the present as a memory, which is where the true living is done. Which memories you bring back to the present moment by moment will determine the quality of your living. If you are not okay with your memories, then it's very difficult. Yeah. No regrets. Straight up. Trev JZ6 YW. Can someone simplify this for me? I don't understand how we can get sick and things like that if we're in a hologram. Wouldn't there be some type of evidence or something that would point towards this theory in some way or another? I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's a bunch of videos on it. I think it's our perception that it'd be this digital type thing, the simulation, or our simulation, what have you, because that's all we can perceive, maybe acknowledge. It's probably way deeper than we even realize, just something we can't comprehend. Like maybe we're on the right track of thinking it's a simulation, maybe, but our comprehension is so abysmal that we're trying to attach only what we know to it, and it's much bigger than that. So it definitely ain't gonna make sense. I don't know. Well, I mean, if we turn it into like computers, they get like viruses and they get too old and they age out. Yeah. Someone smarter than me can answer that. OG Hashishin. Ever notice that the spiritualists never consider the possibility that there is no meaning, no purpose, no spirit, only our temporary wills? Yeah, I don't know. The older people get most of the time. I don't think it's just like nothing. It just doesn't. It never doesn't sit right. It sort of doesn't make sense, I guess, that there would just be nothing after this. Like how everything has cycles, especially in nature. I mean, look at nature. Everything has cycles. It lives off and dies off. I don't know. It's one of those, is it Aristotle? The more you know, I'll find the quote. The more I learn. Oh, okay. Yeah, he had one. Aristotle. Okay, there's two. Okay. The more you know, the more you don't know. And then Einstein had one called, the more I learn, the more I realize how much I do not know. I don't know what the answer is, but it's just, I don't know. I know for a fact atheists ain't got it. All these creeds, convictions, or sects, they've been around way longer than us. They're gonna be around a long time after us. And I get it's one of those things we need to assign meaning to. Some people assign like karma or comprehension on stuff tends to make us feel better about stuff, I guess. I don't know. Anything to kind of pass the blame. Even astrology is like that. What? You get girls walking around like someone knocks over your tray of food and's all like, oh, I'm an Aries, my bad. Be like, that's just how I am, It's just kind of quick to pass the blame. Like, they have no control over the situation, so they think they can kind of get away with it. It's kind of just lazy to me. That's all. Nostradamus. The odds that our reality is a simulation is extraordinarily high. Simply because if you have the technology required, then simulations can be duplicated and repeated and slightly altered indefinitely as required with cheap computers. Everything that is perceived within the simulation comes from the simulation. There is no originality, no invention that is not supplied by the simulation. Thus, the fact that I can perceive these ideas means this simulation is nearly over. Likewise, if you have the technology to travel vast distances through the universe, traveling forward in time or stopping time, time and death become irrelevant, the ultimate singularity. Therefore, once a culture learns to travel interstellar space, they will then travel the universe in time indefinitely. Therefore, the odds are extremely high. We all are in a simulation on a spaceship traveling a real universe, looking for a new home. And this simulation is a test, a very difficult test, testing us to see if we qualify to live on the new planet. Our robotic ship is searching and testing planets for. And there is no random in our simulation, so Christian beliefs are the tests we are presented with. If we have the character and learning abilities to be granted the right to participate in our new home when it is found. The New Jerusalem is what it will be called according to our perceptions, and what we perceive in our new home will be completely controlled by whatever body we are put into and what that body is connected to, meaning the simulation will continue, but we are promised it will be heightened reality with technology far beyond what we are allowed to perceive in this current reality, in this robot ship we are traveling in an eternal sleep, connected to a central intelligence that controls everything we think, perceive, feel. We live through many lives in this simulation, although our personalities may be somewhat artificial and simulated by combining multiple complementary personalities over generations. Thus, we are a product of the whole and not really individuals. Also, extremely evil personalities may be because they have been isolated and allowed to degenerate over many generations. then are cast into the outer darkness. When they have become pure evil, thus removed from any further simulations and no longer on the ship, other personalities, the top personalities, may be unknowingly completed, unperceived, being used as breeders to increase the population, adding new souls to our simulation, readying the population for the new planet that will populate when our robotic ship finds our new home, the one that fits the search criteria. Our original home is so far away and long forgotten, it will never be revisited. Holy moly, talk about run-on sentences. This is what my teachers were talking about in school. People got a lot of time on their hands. I couldn't imagine how long it took to write this. Ain't even edited. Like, this is like one shot. Typed it up. Good for them. That's the thing. Is there, with this simulation, like, could you narrow down a true beginning? Like he was talking about, our original home is so far away and long forgotten, yada yada. I see that. But what started all that? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Alright, let's move along. Buster Frank, 1818. Years ago, I had a powerful dream. I drove tractor trailers for a living. I pulled over one night to take a quick nap while resting in the driver's seat at the back lot of a country store. I had a dream I was at a river alone with a horse that I loved, but I couldn't take proper care of because of my lifestyle. In the dream, I was an outlaw and had to ride too hard to properly rest and feed the horse that I loved dearly. I was ashamed and felt sorry for the horse. He was a great horse and deserved better. In the dream, we made it to the river and let the horse drink from the river first before me. I was also dying of thirst, but this is the only way I could honor the horse and show the horse the love and respect it deserved. All of a sudden, I heard someone shout, "Henry! Henry Starr!" It was a life or death situation. I woke up like my life depended on it. My name is not Henry Starr, and I didn't know who it was until I looked it up. I read about him later. Henry Starr was an outlaw, the Cherokee bad man. He had a shootout at the river while letting his horse drink from the river and rest. 2 lawmen snuck up on him. How strange to dream this. It's kind of like a vision. He didn't even need a peace pipe either, or some peyote or something. He just got a vision. That's cool. Yeah, I'm kind of moving along. It's tough to find these like simulation type experiences, I guess. Yeah, so I'll probably add in like Mandela effect, deja vu, dreams, parallel universes, reincarnation type stuff too. I think they'd kind of come into it. Maybe not reincarnation, but just whatever. Karen Reeves, 3650. Yes, I have actually gotten into an argument with a man who murdered me in a past life. I wouldn't be doing that. Might do it again. I don't know. What are you doing? He was still defending himself for not giving him what he wanted. It bleeds over, but is definitely cleared. Deepak JH 632. We don't need any physical portal to travel into other dimensions. Meditation will let you do that. Your soul is capable of traveling through these realms. We just have to make it active to do so. We are all part of the universe, strongly connected with the bond called a soul, which is connected to all dimensions. Train your soul and let the soul do the rest. This is what our Indian yogis were doing, and they get knowledge of the universe by doing that. They wrote their experience and knowledge into books, and we were seeking for evidence without being part of the experience. Spirituality is called the science of universe, and our science is science for our earth, i.e. physical realm, which we can only see/observe. No matter how far we go into space and explore, we will be in the 3rd dimension only. To explore multiple dimensions, we have to use our soul, which only has the capability to do that. Our physical body is not capable of doing that. If we try to do that, we will die, or our physical body will disintegrate into matter. Y'all think we could teleport? Man, that'd be cool. That'd be real cool. Alright, a little too deep for me. In a different dimension, the Cornucopia might be on the Fruit of Loom emblem. Tarkus. Or is it Tarkus? Tarkus, I think it's right, Tarkus. I read a comment not long ago. Somebody shared a story that his grandpa told him. The man lived in a wooden area, and he said one time he saw something that looked like a Sasquatch in the woods, and he saw that thing as it went into something that looked like a portal, an area in the middle of the woods that looked distorted, and the creature disappeared. As crazy as it may sound, that would explain many of the strange vanishings and also the causes of little children that went missing and apparently traveled long distances deep into the woods all by themselves. Yeah. Oh yeah, Bigfoot use those. Crystal C216. I have encountered one of these portals, or at least I believe I have. When I was a little girl, my family lived on Wrangell Island in Alaska. We lived right up against the St. Elias National Park, where a great many Bigfoot sightings and other odd happenings have been said to frequently occur. I was playing in the woods in front of my house one day and came face to face with an area that looked like, well, a portal. But it was huge, as if a massive doorway had opened in the woods, and I couldn't see where it started or where it ended. It was like a mirror, but it was shimmering and moving almost like the surface of a body of water. I almost felt as if I was being protected somehow because I tried to touch it and walk into or towards it, but could not enter. It was like touching solid nothingness. Same house, in the same location, an enormous Bigfoot creature looked into my bedroom window and I saw it. We were the last house in the neighborhood closest to the mountains and forest. We left the island and moved about an hour outside Anchorage. I won't make this any longer than it needs to be, but the odd sightings and unexplainable happenings didn't stop once we moved. Huh. No, keep it coming. Oh man, parallel dimensions exist. You've got your proof. My proof is, if you're a guitarist, you'll know this. Right here. It exists, okay? Paranormal, it just exists. These things right here. They just disappear. It's just gone. Yeah, it's gotta be a portal. Year of favor? Okay, year of favor. I saw a portal in my friend's daughter's room in her beach house in Southport, North Carolina. Inside of it was what appeared to be a golden library. It seemed fake to me, and I thought, evil knows I like books, but doesn't know gold doesn't tempt me. It was circling for about 30 seconds. When I decided not to go in, it closed. I felt if it was God, he would have sent an escort. This was 2019. I didn't tell her, but I wondered if the daughter had dabbled in something evil there, and maybe something happened there long ago. Oh, there's bad juju in places. Oh man, what could you do with like a golden library? Those books gotta be heavy as heck. After a while, turning pages, holding it. Billy Bardo, 6373. I used to question interdimensional time slips until something strange happened to me in 2016. I always wore a Levi denim vest for many years. I unplugged my phone, put it in the upper pocket, and went to the store. I also had a US passport as well. I came back and went to recharge my phone, being it wasn't fully charged. I realized that not only now I didn't have a phone or passport, my vest hasn't been found to this day. I searched everywhere. Numerous people were telling me odd things of me being somewhere looking identical for months. Where'd you get the motorcycle so fast? You were just here 10 minutes ago and now you have a pickup truck. Wasn't me. Hair, beard, shades, clothes, and all. Wasn't me. A man said he thought I was his dad for a second. I smarted off. Poor bastard. I have no children. He showed me a picture of him and his dad who died several years earlier. It looked exactly like me. I constantly have people coming up to me, seemingly knowing who the hell I am. I don't know. Thank God for Jake Daniels. He's probably drunk. Just left it somewhere. Did he ask his buddies? Like, hey, you remember seeing me wearing this or whatnot? I'll at least clarify it. Plus, no offense, some of these well, he kind of looks like a biker looking dude. There's some bikers, there's stereotype looking bikers out there, you know, some big beard. This guy has a pair of glasses, definitely unique for sure. Hat, he's drinking whiskey, so he's probably got a bunch of rings. I see a ring right there. Okay. Damn, sorry about his vest. That stinks. I hate losing stuff. Thomas Tedder, 2944. One night back in circa 1990, I woke up sometime after midnight. As I laid there in the dark, I looked at my TV. Next thing I noticed, about a foot from the TV, an oval-shaped opening appeared, about 5 feet high and 2 feet wide. I noticed smoke was bellowing from the bottom upward along the sides of this oval object that was light pink and purplish color. I kept watching, and to me, it appeared something human was deep within the opening, as if they were 40 feet away from me inside this opening. It seemed to me they had their arms stretched out, like wanting me to follow. Well, I never once thought to even try to go near it. It must have been only a few minutes, then disappeared. The supernatural exists, and in so many ways. So much we don't know about. There's quite a bit of dads that don't come back from getting milk, so maybe we've got that mystery solved right there, you know? That's perfect. Alright, we'll do one more. Holy moly, we've read quite a bit. Okay, this is a long one. Let's see. Stephen M. 4966. I've had one encounter at night when I heard a noise like a dog coming from the woods. So I walked over to look, and something tall and lean with a heavy brow hissed at me, stepping off of the lit path. I heard the brush snapping as it stepped away. I also had encounters with something that had the form of a man, but it was clear, bending light like a water droplet does. I saw it standing in the Y of a tree from 20 feet away, and it was still tapping a stick against the tree to draw my attention to it. The second encounter happened as I was looking at a small shrub/tree that was swaying violently on a hillside in the woods while there was no wind blowing. As I focused on it, I plainly saw the outline of a man sitting there with the sprig in its hand that it was waving. It also was clear in bending the light around it. All of this happened during a time in my life where I was sober and learning/seeking after the Lord. I've seen large, almond-shaped, glowing red eyes looking back at me from my bedroom window. Something whistled in my ear with a strange, three-toned whistle as I walked past a large tree near the woods. There have been other times when I have had things thrown at me as I walked down the street where I lived, at a mountain-fed lake that sits directly beside a state park with the small cliffs and mountains in it. I was torn, trying to place this biblically without running directly to the obvious within Genesis, as so many people do, like a one-size-fits-all category. My main issue was in placing these as good or evil, and or tying them together. Sharing these things with family and others has only had a negative effect on my life, and I have never reached out to any popular organizations to try to sensationalize my experiences. For the most part, I have kept this to myself, but I think it's important for people to be able to hear about it and witness the supernatural evidence of the unseen realm, and those who travel back and forth in it. I believe that many people have sensationalized similar experiences, and have lied to make them even more fantastic, only to muddy the water and make authentic witnesses look like liars and fools. These stories I've shared are 100% true, and I have told them exactly as they happened. Knowing that, I haven't sinned in doing so. I'll call it there. Oh man, some of those were like really neat. Man, we kind of went on for a while. Oh my gosh. Well, we definitely got off the simulation topic. Sorry for getting off the simulation topic, but some of those were a trip. Thank you so much for joining me. I was your host. Thank you so much for joining me. I was your host, Cockles. I think that's a wrap. Take care. I can barely do it.